Here on Wall Street, coming off the worst opening since the financial collapse of 2008. You see the numbers right there. The Dow down almost 300 points. Our chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, is at the New York Stock Exchange this morning. And Rebecca, worries about China sparked the sell-off yesterday. What's the forecast today?
Good morning, George. And things seem to be leveling out here a bit this morning. The Dow actually opening a bit higher in the green today after that rough bout yesterday. And as you say, sparked by fears of China. At issue is China as the world's second largest economy slowing down. And the question is, how much does that have a ripple effect here on things in the United States and on economies around the globe? And how dramatic would that ripple effect be? And what could it mean in terms of jobs, in terms of economic growth? The second key is oil. Prices were clobbered last year. They are continuing to be near very record lows here in the United States. And that's great news if you're a consumer filling up at the pump, but not if you're an energy company or someone with a job at an energy company. There's an old saying here on Wall Street, as goes January, so goes the year. There are still 18 trading days left to prove that point. George?
Plenty of time. Okay, Rebecca, thanks very much.
Always optimistic. Now to that standoff in Oregon, authorities and residents there are telling the armed militiamen who seized federal land to leave, but they are not backing down. And ABC's Neil Karlinsky spent time inside that wildlife refuge. Good morning, Neil.
Robin, good morning. The group has now spent 3 frozen nights inside the compound, which is just on a dirt road back there. Not exactly a glamorous place to hold a siege, and so far, despite calls for others to join their cause, their numbers have not been growing. This morning, for the first time, authorities are publicly telling an armed group of ranchers here in rural Oregon to pack up and get out.
It's time for you to leave our community, go home to your families, and end this peacefully.
The group, which now calls itself Citizens for Constitutional Freedom, is holed up
that Islam has nothing to do with these terror attacks. He's told us that time and again. He's underplayed it. He's diminished it. He told us, for example, that there are those who say that the war on ISIS is World War III. The only person who said that is the Pope, whom Obama actually praised elsewhere in the speech. No one is saying it's World War III. What we're saying is it's the biggest, most expansive, most dangerous, most organized, largest, and territorially the largest terror threat that we've ever had. It's a major threat. So I think Obama's totally undermined the tolerance issue, the tolerance appeal. Remember, George W. made the same appeal, and it was accepted and believed, and it wasn't contested because George W. was willing to look at terrorism in the face, call it by its name, and go after it.
When you heard the president talk about ISIS, it was like, yeah, the guys in the back of the truck. It's a threat, but it's like, and by the way, we're very strong and as strong as we ever have been, and don't worry, but, let's not forget who we are and let's not treat other people differently. Right. We were discussing falling oil prices, and one of the interesting media stories today may be related to falling oil prices, and that is Al Jazeera America, that is the U.S. arm of the Qatari news network Al Jazeera, has announced today that it is closing down. It is ceasing operations in the United States, we understand. Now, how much of a link can we make between falling oil prices and this news today?
Yeah, I think we can't say with 100% absolute certainty that the decline in oil prices is the main reason. This obviously is a network that has had other issues. Ratings haven't been great. The controversy about their management in general, as well as that documentary for sports that targeted Peyton Manning, that some people are questioning the veracity of some of those reports. But oil plunging as much as it has, given the ownership of a Middle Eastern nation like Qatar, that obviously doesn't help at all. And oil prices now, it is a dramatic plunge from more than $100 just 18 months ago to below 30. So clearly, that is definitely a big reason, I think, why Al Jazeera is now faced with just shutting down.
Well, certainly falling oil prices are impacting the finances of many Gulf countries in the region as well. Perhaps this is one of the casualties, but as you mentioned, Al Jazeera has America has many other problems with ratings and other things. Thanks very much.
Bad savings idea. Verbal email.
This is John
From HR, subject, inappropriate knock